So if you're a real estate investor, how do you review a title search? This is Dave at titlesearch.com, certified title abstractors. If you've received the title abstract or a title report and you're looking at a foreclosure property, reviewing that report in the correct manner is an excellent way to make sure that your investment is not going to have defects or clouds on title that'll surprise you later. The first place to look at on that report is the mortgage section. You don't even really care who the owner is because you're buying it through a foreclosure auction or auction.com or a sheriff's sale. But the mortgage section is an important factor to consider to make sure that the mortgage that's being foreclosed or that's being auctioned off is a first mortgage. If you buy a property that the second mortgage is being auctioned, that first mortgage is still in play. It will likely still have priority and more than likely will still be an encumbrance on that property. Making sure that the mortgage numbers match up, the book and page matches up, the name of the lender matches up. It's not enough to just say, well, the mortgage is Bank of America and I see Bank of America as a first mortgage. Bank of America may also have a credit line and they may only be foreclosing on that credit line. So making sure that the references on the foreclosure have a book and page to the first mortgage and it matches exactly. You don't want to take any chances that it's not the first mortgage. The next section you want to look at is the section containing liens. You want to look specifically for municipal public sector liens, IRS tax liens, property tax liens, any type of environmental liens, mechanics liens. There are certain types of liens that have very high priority and will or may survive a foreclosure process. Those are the types of things that will come back to haunt an investor later. You want to identify those on the title report. If there are liens or judgments which don't fit the criteria of those super liens or durable liens, you still want to make sure that you have an understanding that those for sure will be removed at the time of foreclosure. The title search itself is not going to determine what the title status will be after the foreclosure, after the auction. It's going to tell you what the title status is right then and now at that point in time. So making sure you understand what the laws, how they apply to that foreclosure and what's going to happen with the title afterwards is an important part of due diligence and understanding as a foreclosure investor. And you may want to get legal advice on that subject. The third part you want to look at are the real estate taxes. Make sure the taxes are paid. Make sure they're up to date for the current year. If they're not paid, you want to understand what is owing, what the balance is owing on it. You also want to look at the tax amount to make sure you know what obligation you have in future years to pay taxes. If the property is in a homestead exemption state, make sure that you calculate the prorated amount without the homestead exemption. If you're an investor or a flipper or some type of landlord, you may not qualify for foreclosure for a homestead exemption. So when you get your tax bill, it may be a lot higher than what it was in the past for an owner-occupied residence. Also check on the taxes. Are there any upcoming special assessments where they're going to put in sewers or do something in the homeowner association that will raise those taxes up? You want to know what your future tax liability is, not what was in history. Once you're done with all that, take a look at the supplemental section to look at the legal description to make sure you understand where that property starts and stops. Just because you're looking at an address of 12 Main Street, 12 Main Street may actually be divided up into multiple parcels and you want to know exactly which parcel you're getting. So the legal description will identify the boundaries or the plat map or sometimes the block and lot of that property. So you know exactly what you're getting, where the boundaries are, and you're not planning and counting on getting more land than you think you are. If you do have questions about looking at a title search or a title abstract, you can reach us at our website at titlesearch.com.